From the PEP Radio Newsroom, this is the daily news for June 4th, 2026. These are the stories we are covering at this hour. President Trump tells aides he would consider ending the ceasefire if U.S. troops are killed. President Donald Trump has told aides he would consider ending a ceasefire with Iran if U.S. troops are killed. Sources familiar with the discussions told the Wall Street Journal. The report comes amid repeated airstrikes from Iran, which have upped pressure on Trump to respond. Earlier Wednesday, Trump indicated that the ceasefire was holding strong, telling reporters, in that part of the world, ceasefire is when your shooting is in a more moderate manner. Israel and Lebanon have agreed to implement a ceasefire, according to the Trump administration. Israel and Lebanon agreed to implement a ceasefire to end hostilities, the Trump administration said on Wednesday, in a boost to hopes for a broader deal to end the U.S.-Israeli war on Iran. Tehran, which had conditioned any deal with the U.S. in part on an end to fighting between Israel and Lebanon, earlier struck Kuwait, damaging its airport and injuring dozens, while the U.S. military carried out strikes near the Strait of Hormuz. Turning to news from the United States, a Republican tells Tlaib she's getting a little emotional after he links her to Hezbollah. A battle of words ensued on the House floor Wednesday during a debate about the Lebanon War Powers resolution after Representative Max Miller, the Republican of Ohio, lobbied a misogynistic insult at his colleague, Representative Rashida Tlaib, the Democrat from Michigan. The squabble began when Miller said Tlaib, who is Muslim, likes to hang out with the butchers in Hezbollah. When Tlaib interrupted Miller, he fired back, "Oh, I'm sorry, are we getting a little emotional? You advocate for terrorism on a daily basis," he continued as Tlaib yelled, "You advocate for a terrorist regime every single day." "That is a direct attack on my character," Tlaib said. "I please request to strike the words down." Representative Jay Obermulti, the Republican of California, who was presiding over the hearing, ruled that Miller's language was inappropriate and struck the comments from the record. Miller was also banned from speaking on the House floor for the rest of the day. In other news, after 6 months of silence, NASA says that the Mars Maven spacecraft is dead. After 6 months of radio silence, NASA's Maven spacecraft around Mars has been declared dead. The space agency confirmed Wednesday that the mission had ended after more than a decade of observations. And finally, Trump talks up the slush fund his administration said isn't happening anymore. And he said, "I love it." At an executive order signing Wednesday, President Donald Trump continued to talk up his $1.8 billion anti-weaponization fund just 24 hours after his acting attorney general, Todd Blanche, said the controversial fund was now off the table. "I love it," Trump said of the fund. "I think it's so important." When reporters asked him to clarify the fund's status, Trump replied, "I'd have to ask the lawyers." Yeah. "The weaponization fund, as far as I'm concerned, was a beautiful thing," he continued. Was, past tense. Democrats are pressuring the administration to confirm in writing the slush fund's demise. The president's continued touting of the payouts is evidence of why that's necessary, Senator Chris Van Hollen noted. "If you're wondering why I won't stop until no slush fund is in law," Van Hollen wrote on social media, pointing to Trump's comments during the executive order signing. Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche bristled Tuesday when asked about the question of putting the change on paper. "Now, I'm not committing to anything in writing," he said, when Representative Grace Meng, the Democrat of New York, asked him about doing so during a hearing. "I don't know what the purpose of putting something in writing. I'm telling you what we are doing," he continued. That's the news for this hour. The PEP Radio YouTube channel has daily news updates every day, all day. PEP Radio is available on the Live 365 app, the PEP Radio page at paequality.com, Roku, Alexa, and wherever you find streaming radio. Up next, we have the Meadville area weather forecast here on PEP Radio.